The annual RSGB Islands on the Air contest is a major international event in the amateur radio calendar, attracting thousands of participants from all over the world. The main concept is to promote contacts between stations on islands and the rest of the world, and also to encourage expeditions to IOTA Islands. The event is open to all amateurs, whether you're operating from an island or not. However, the competition scoring system does favour operators transmitting to and from islands. The event takes place over 24 hours across the last weekend in July each year. The IOTA organisation have given reference numbers to the world's islands. They are grouped into regions: Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Europe, North America, Oceania and South America. In the contest, there are two types of stations: island stations and world stations. Island stations contacting world stations earn 5 points. Island stations contacting islands with the same IOTA reference get 5 points. However, island stations contacting islands with a different IOTA reference get 15 points. World stations contacting other world stations get 2 points. World stations contacting island stations get 15 points. The multiplier is the total of different IOTA reference contacted on each band, and the total score is the total of all QSO points added together, multiplied by the total number of multipliers on all bands added together. The rules say, to operate an island station de-expedition, a station must operate from a qualifying IOTA island. In addition, the island can only be reached by boat or by air, not by bridge or causeway. The operator must be non-resident on the island, and the operator must take all the radio equipment and antennas with them, and must not rely on a resident or any mast or towers already installed for any part of the station. This is my home shack. It's where I took part in the IOTA contest last year. It was my first ever contest and I did quite well. I got third place in the UK Intermediate Licence Single Operator category, and during that contest I contacted quite a lot of mainland Britain stations, Europe 5. I'm mainland UK, or I was last year, and I got 5 points for every call, every QSO made with a similar Europe 5 station. I made lots of DX calls as well, but I wondered if I could remove myself from the Europe 5 island group, if I could move myself to another island group, and I made a similar number or more calls, QSOs with EU5. Because I'd be in a different island group, each QSO would be worth 15 points, not 5 points. I'd obviously be chasing DX islands and other European islands too. So I quite like the idea of changing to another island group rather than Europe 5. Also, the concept behind IOTA is to encourage people to travel to islands and operate radio, in the contest or not. So I quite like the idea of that. I like travelling to islands. So that was the plan. Could I form a plan to make a little expedition to another island for the IOTA contest 2023? Could I put a station together and operate in such a way? Scotland is ideally placed for a small IOTA de-expedition. There are many islands and plenty choice of places to go. Fortunately, Scotland has 12 different IOTA island groups, 13 if you include the mainland island of Great Britain that Scotland is part of, Europe 5. Over the year between the 2022 and 2023 contests, I put a plan in place to operate from Echo Uniform 123, Scottish Coastal Islands Group, specifically the island of Great Cumbria. It's the most straightforward place for me to get to, but it's also rarely operated from. I started preparing the equipment. I have a 10 metre aluminium telescopic mast and a pair of 10 metre fiberglass poles too. A full-size G5 RV dipole and some shorter poles to support the ends, some sandbags to help secure things. A home-built, near-vertical incidence skywave NVIS antenna should work well for UK stations, and I also took an M1 ECC slide winder with military whip. This is very useful in 10 and 15 metres. I'll also take several AmPro ham sticks. The main transceiver was the Yaesu FT991 and an LDG YT1200 auto tuner. As a backup, I took a Yaesu FT891 and a little ATU 100. Mains power supply units, a laptop and a spare with logging software, some batteries in case of power failures, loads of RF cables, DC cables, torch, tools, spare fuses, etc. As the Land Rover would hopefully be supporting the mast, I'd not have any transport available once the mast is set up. I'd need also to take enough food and drink with me for the duration, enough clothes and waterproofs, and my ferry tickets too. I was as well prepared as I could be. Everything was checked and rechecked, cables tested, batteries charged and food prepared. I was certainly conscious of the considerable extra weight I was carrying in the Defender. I was in good spirits and the sun was shining. I was having a weekend away to play with my radios, and I was keen to enjoy the experience as much as possible. The traffic was light and the journey through Lochwinnoch and Kilbirnie was pleasant and uneventful. First sight of the destination. Directly across the water, straight ahead, lay the island of Great Cumbria, about a mile off the Clyde coastal town of Largs. Time to board. This was another of my boxes ticked. To enable me to qualify as an island expedition entrant, I needed to travel to the island by either boat or by plane. Any boat trip in the west of Scotland in weather like this is always very enjoyable. There's no comparison between this journey and the recent Ocean Odyssey to Rockall. But I'm pretty sure I was just as excited as Nobby and Emil were heading to Rockall. I was on the 1 o'clock ferry. In 24 hours' time, the competition starts. The caravan ahead of me on the ferry I would see again during the weekend. I didn't know it at the time, but this was the mobile operating shack for the West of Scotland Amateur Radio Society. This group would be operating as Golf Mike 4 Alpha Golf Golf Portable. But there would be two other call signs coming out of Great Cumbria this weekend. Golf Mike 2 Tango Tango and myself, 2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango. By the time the contest weekend arrived, I had entered 14 amateur radio contests since being licensed in April 2022. I had operated all but one of them from my home QTH shack. The actual contest operation didn't concern me. My worry was I'd be operating from a location I'd never seen before. Hopefully, I could get the vehicle close enough to the shack to be able to use it as the main antenna support, but that was by no means a certainty. My other concern was I was doing this all by myself. I needed to be able to set up without any help. I booked with Airbnb a cottage beside a farm on high ground on the north of Cumbria. It's the highest property available to rent on Great Cumbria. As I drove towards the farm, I was delighted to see the road was uphill all the way. I arrived a little early, so to pass the time, I drove on to the highest point on the island to enjoy the views. The farm where I'd stay was only a few hundred metres away. check-in time, I make my way down to the farm. Rena, my host at the cottage, knew all about IOTA. She had a team stay with her last year. She gave me permission to put the Land Rover wherever suited me. I drove the Defender through a field and eventually accessed a small paddock area beside the cottage. It really was a perfect location. The cottage was excellent too. The location on high ground had open aspects to the north, the west and east. And the highest point on the island is just to the south of me. I then began to set up my equipment. I'm very happy with the setup I've got to secure the 10-metre mast to the Defender. Quite straightforward and very secure. After a little bit of adjustment with the spirit level, the mast was set up. This was going to support the main antenna, a 102-foot dipole. But I also had a small IOTA flag to add to. The NVIS antenna was next to erect. This is my home-built version of a well-known design. I use it to great effect in the Isle of Mull and works really well at 40 metres for local UK contacts. Takes a little bit of setting up, but hopefully worth the effort. Next, the M1 ECC Slidewinder ground spike with military whip and radials. This is a lovely antenna, really easy to set up. You can actually use it on a mag mount as well. I've had really good experience with this on 15 and 10 metres in coastal locations. I then ran the RF cables back to a switcher and then a single feed into the kitchen where I set up the shack. The radio equipment took hardly any time to set up. Power supply, radio, ATU and SWR meter. Then I powered up the computer, connected the radio so band, mode and frequency would transfer automatically to my logging software. I use Rumlog NG, which is only available for Apple Mac computers. I preset my exchange information. Reception report is 59, as it always is in a contest. My serial for each contact starts with 001 and increases by 1 with each QSO made, and my IOTA island locator, Europe 123. The contest program assumes I'll be given a 59 in reply, so all I need to do was log the call sign, their serial number and their IOTA reference. My TX bandwidth and parametric EQ were configured using Bob Heil's contesting settings. I also had programmed my radio with my contest CQ call audio recording, so all I needed to do to CQ call was press one button. I made a few contacts to check and everything worked well. Then I switched to the NVIS. It tuned well, but I couldn't make any contacts at all. After some fiddling, I decided to pack that up. I did have another antenna with me that I could modify to be an NVIS antenna. I wondered about maybe setting that up tomorrow. The contest started at noon GMT, 1 o'clock local time. I had the morning free. After breakfast I went for a walk and ended up at the West of Scotland Amateur Radio Society caravan was parked, along with a massive Delta Loop antenna. The wind was from the south and this place really was exposed. The weather forecast was grim, rain and strong winds were expected. Respect to these guys for picking a spot like this during the Scottish summer. I spoke to the lads for a while, wished them well, and then returned to my warm cottage. Okay, here we are. On Great Cumbria. Antennas were up yesterday. I added a new one this morning. A Clansman ground spike NVIS modification. And I've got Slidewinder vertical. I've got a couple of ham sticks which are just there for the photographs. I probably won't use those. And on a 10 metre mast I've got a full-size G5 RV. I'm at the top of the island on the north side of Great Cumbria. Operating with the Yaesu FT991. I've got an LDG 1200 auto tuner, power supply, SWR meter. I've got a spare Yaesu FT891 and a spare tuner. should I need them. Just having a cup of coffee, and it's 12:28, half an hour to go. I'll stretch the legs, and I'll be off in the contest in about half an hour's time. So here we go.
To Mike 0, Victor Golf Tango on Europe 123.
Contesting strategy. My plan was ideally I'd call CQ, but from experience the bands are pretty busy and with lots of powerful stations doing just the same. I needed to have enough separation from the other stations to be heard with my 50 watts. Some of the stronger stations bleed over several kilohertz. It might be a struggle, but that was the plan. The other option is far less effective for good scoring. Scanning the bands, replying to CQ calls, but I'd not be wasting any time in a pile-up. I needed as many contacts as I could get, hopefully from islands. To Mike 0, Victor Golf Tango. To Mexico 0, Victor Golf Tango. A problem I tend to have quite frequently is my call sign is quite rare. 2 Mike 0 is a Scottish intermediate licence. It's often misunderstood as Mike 0, an English full licence, or 2 Echo 0, again much more popular than mine, an English intermediate licence. So sometimes it takes a few attempts to get through. Good luck, thank you. 2 Mike 0, Victor Golf Tango. QSL?
2 Mike 0, Victor Golf Tango, you're 59004, you're 14.
To Mike 0, Victor Golf Tango. QSL 001, Europe 14, you're 003, Europe 123. Good luck to you too, 7-3. QSL 73, Europe 57, you're 59008, and Europe 123. It's 2 Mexico, Scottish station, 2 Mike 0, Victor Golf Tango. Thank you for 034 on Europe 123. You're 59012. I'm also on EU 123, Great Cumbria. This is my logging software, Rumlog NG. It's now 12:32, so I'm half an hour into the contest. And these are the stations I've contacted, all in the 20-metre band. There's the points, 15 for an island and 5 for a world station. That's giving me 125 QSO points, but 6 multipliers. And these are the multipliers. And if you multiply the 125 QSO points by the 6 multipliers, my score just now is 750 points. I had hoped to be doing better. Africa 14 and 012. Africa 14012. QSL? 90 minutes into the contest now, 1:30 GMT. Got 15 multipliers now, 4,200 points, 24 QSOs so far.
Thank you. Ocean Holder 1, download Mike.
2 Mike 0, Victor Golf Tango.
Mexico 0, 2 Mexico 0, Victor Mike Tango, 59270.
Victor Germany Tango. Victor Germany Tango. Thank you for 270. You're 050. Echo Uniform 123.
Hello, Echo Papa, Echo India 9 Hotel Express.
2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango.
2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango, Roger.
QSL.
059269, Uniform 15. Victor Golf Tango, what is your prefix?
2 Mexico 0.
Stand by, guys. I asked Victor Golf Tango only. What is your prefix there,
2 Mexico 0.
Okay, 2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango. Thank you. Your 59327.
QSL 327 59058 Europe 123.
Echo Uniform 123.
QSL.
Okay, thank you. Oscar Radio 1 X-ray. 2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango. Thank you. Your 59950 Echo Uniform 65.
So I've now been operating non-stop for over 7 hours, finally getting a chance to CQ call. 40 metres is the main spot. I found some space to CQ call, and as expected I've got quite a lot of Europe 5 stations from mainly from England. Last year these calls would only have been worth 5 points, but because I'm now not on EU 5, because it's a different island, are now worth 15 points to me. In a short time, I've racked up 40 calls on 40 metres, and it took most of the afternoon to get 40 calls on 20 metres. Makes quite a difference to the score. I've now got 950 points and 28 different island groups for the multiplier, and scores now over 26,000 points. Beginning to work for me. 2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango on Europe 123. Echo Sugar 2 Uniform November X-ray, thank you. 59087 Europe 123.
Thanks, you are 5995 Europe 149.
Q IOTA contest 2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango on Europe 123.
One of the great benefits of having your CQ call recorded and you can replay it. It does give you time for making your dinner and tidying up and having a mouthful of food. 2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango.
Sorry, Golf Tango. Again, please.
2 Mexico 0 Victor Golf Tango. Roger, Roger, 16. You're 59089 Europe 123. Victor Golf Tango. Victor Golf Tango.
Roger, Roger, 20 Victor Golf Tango 59284 on South America 6.
QSL 284 South America 6. You're 59090 Europe 123. Delighted with that call. So that's another new DXCC for me. Yeah, all copied. QSL. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks for multiplier. Papa Juliet 4 Delta X-ray contest. 2F0 BGT 59399 Africa 014.
59399. Confirm 399 Africa 14.
Yes.
Roger, Roger. Thank you. 9 o'clock at night, just after 9, and I haven't stopped. I've been calling the whole time, been operating the whole time. Lots more multipliers, South America, Africa, North America, and I've worked 100 QSOs now, 100 QSOs, mainly on 20 and 40 metres. Nothing on 10 at all. Last time 15 and 10 were bouncing, and now 40 multipliers. So when I get a new island for 15 points, that 15 is multiplied by 40, so each new island at this point is worth 600 points. Beginning to pick up. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there's driving rain against the windows. It's a horrible night outside. I feel sorry for the guys at the top of the hill from the West of Scotland group. 2 2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango.
2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango, thank you. 2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango, you're 59145 in Echo Uniform 5.
QSL 145 Echo Uniform 5. You're 159 on Echo Uniform 123.
159 in Echo Uniform 123, man. There we go. What island are you on?
I'm on Great Cumbrae. Just after 10 at night GMT, 11 o'clock my time, and finally managing to call CQ now on 40, making lots of contacts. Over 60,000 points at the moment. This is what I was hoping for. Tomorrow morning should be really good as well. Last year it was the busiest time of the contest for me, so I'm hoping for many more QSOs on Sunday morning. The weather outside is getting really bad. To Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango.
Kilo 7, slowly, please. Kilo 7, slowly, complete me, slowly, please, go ahead.
2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango. I wasn't going to miss the opportunity for a contact with Chile. He wasn't in the contest, so I couldn't log him in the contest, but I could log him on my main log, but I couldn't reach him. Just gone midnight GMT, 12 hours solid operating, and lots of CQ calls again on 40, 105 QSOs on 40 metres alone. It's now much more difficult to find new islands. Because I've worked so many, a new multiplier is quite a rare thing at this point. And I'm just short of 100,000 points. I'm really surprised 10 and 15 metres has been so quiet. I do try 15 again from time to time, but still nothing heard. So back onto 40 and more CQ calling. Getting quite difficult to find calls now. Lots of stations I've worked before. It's now 2 in the morning my time, 1 in the morning contest time, and I'm getting very tired. My rate of QSOs now has dropped down quite a bit. There's a lot of stations I'm hearing that I've worked before, so I'm going to call that a day.
CQ IOTA contest 2 Mike 0 Victor Golf Tango on Europe 123.
The weather overnight was absolutely foul, high winds and lots of rain. A very slow morning, very difficult to make calls. I'm hearing stations but I'm just not able to work them. Anyway, time for breakfast. The benefit of having this voice memory is you can still do things, you can do quite a lot and still call CQ, not having much success. I'm hearing lots of stations but they're not hearing me. The frequency is in use, the frequency is in use. Delta Kilo station. Delta Kilo 6 Victor Charlie Oscar, thank you. 207 Echo Uniform 123.
Okay, your number is 096, number 96, Roger.
Roger, Roger, thank you. QSL.
Thank you, 73, good luck.
73, good luck to you too. Sunday morning's been really dreadful. This time last year I was bagging calls all over the place. I'm not making very many calls at all, and it's really quite disappointing. Starting to tidy up now, putting things back in their place, washing the dishes and starting to pack my stuff together. I'm still calling out though. My rate of calls didn't improve at all. In fact, I actually stopped a little bit early. I was making no headway at all. A great weekend though. Back on the ferry, thoroughly enjoyed contesting. It's nice to get away and just concentrate on playing with my radios. The benefit of Cumbria is it's a short ferry, and from Largs to the house it's only half an hour, so it's very easy to nip down here. I could operate from the beaches on the far side as well. There's plenty of places to park and lay-bys. You can set up a mast. I think I'll probably come back here quite soon. Back at home and the sun comes out and it's actually quite warm. Everything's soaked, so everything out and dry it off. This may well have been the cause of my problems on Sunday. The ladder line has separated from the dipole centre. I think I was probably receiving and transmitting on the ladder line. I should have had over 100 calls, maybe 150 calls on Sunday morning. Last year it was the busiest part of the contest for me. Absolutely gutted. The final contest page, on the whole, I really enjoyed the trip. I did okay for points. I got nearly 3 times my score from last year, but it could have been higher. I know it could have been higher. 40 metres was my best band. I got nothing in 10. Got a few stations on 80. 151,775 points. At the start of the weekend, I'd have been happy with that score, but I know it could have been much higher. Since restarting operations on Sunday morning until I closed down, I only made 23 QSOs. The previous night, I was making that sort of number in about 15 minutes. Anyway, great experience, thoroughly enjoyed it. I have booked the cottage for next year. I hope you enjoyed the film. 7-3.